Are you starting to think about permissions pertaining to your sales team, or are you upgrading to enterprise and looking to, well, invoke those things called roles, which then will save you time setting those permissions? Either way, this video, we're going to talk about roles, we're going to talk about permissions, and we're going to talk about sales levels that you might be or not be thinking about. Hey, you know what time it is. Hey, it's your boy George B. Thomas from Impulse Creative, and that's right. Today we're going to talk about permissions in HubSpot and roles in HubSpot. And no matter if you have HubSpot Professional or HubSpot Enterprise, you're going to be able to get value out of this tutorial. Now, usually when I have this conversation with folks, they really think about two levels, and that's sales managers and sales reps. But in this video, we're going to unlock and really talk about three different levels that you might want to create when it comes to permissions or roles or thinking about your team in the future, and that is sales leadership, sales management, and sales reps, because there is a difference. And as you'll see in this video tutorial, we're going to talk about the different permissions that you may or may not allow for those three different levels. Now, disclaimer, these are my thoughts and how we've helped people historically, but you have to use your best judgment as you move forward and watch this, because there's going to be little tweaks and bobs and twists that you're going to want to use for your company, because you know your people. But this will give you a good baseline to start with for sure. Now, if you get value out of this video, make sure you hit the like, hit the subscribe, and hit the bell as well for those instant notifications. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the tutorial. Let's talk about the first level that we're going to be looking into, and that is sales leadership. All right, so we've headed into the settings area, which you can get to by the gear up in the top right-hand corner of your portal. And then we've come to users and teams. And today we're talking about roles, and more specifically, we're talking about sales roles and what you can do. Now, there is really a three-tiered thought process to what we're going to talk about today. And hold up, because I know right now you might be thinking, but we don't have roles. And like I said at the beginning, we're still going to talk about permissions. You can learn about permissions and the idea of permissions, so don't let that roles thing scare you. And you might be thinking, George, I don't have the three different levels. That's all right. You might only have sales managers and sales reps. Maybe you don't have sales leaders, or maybe your managers are the leaders. Just take into what we say in this tutorial and use it for you. So with that said, let's go ahead and create our first role by hitting the Create Role button here. And the first one we're going to create is Sales Leadership. Now we're going to go ahead and start right here on the CRM. We're going to look at Object Access. And because this is Sales Leadership, what we're going to do is we're just going to realize that this pretty much stays the same, that we want them to have access to everything. Well, in this video, what I'll say to you is, depending on your business and your leadership and what they want to see or be part of, you can actually modify this. Now you're going to see there is everything, team only, owned, and none on each of these drop downs. We'll go ahead and close the Object Access, and now we'll have CRM tools. So if they're leadership and they need it, well, they'll probably want to have delete, edit, and view access. They'll probably want to be able to bulk delete, probably be able to want to export, also edit property settings. I'm sure they'll want to be able to do that. And chat flows, maybe or maybe not. Hey, Editor George here. And I just want to kind of talk about that whole chat thing for a second. Like, what I was saying is, if you're using chats and bots as a strategy, then make sure that it's turned on. But if it's not even on your roadmap, your radar, or whatever other metaphor or analogy you want to use, then keep it turned off. Listen, I'm a big proponent of simplifying the complex. Now, let's get back to the tutorial. Usually for leadership, we'll turn all of those things on. So everything in Object Access, everything in CRM tools. And now if they don't need to have access to the marketing, well, then we can go ahead and just turn these things off. But I will probably suggest that they will need to get to lists, and they may use the HubSpot forms as like standalone form pages for some of the sales tactics. So even let leadership have access to forms as well. But we'll turn the rest of the marketing stuff off. Sales, of course, we want to let them manage the product library, create custom line items, access sales, and then we're probably going to give them one of the seats or sales enterprise seats or sales pro seats, whatever you have. If you have these seats, you'll want your leadership to have them. Then notice for forecasting everything and everything, again, for sales leadership, yes. playbooks, publish, edit, view, sequences, bulk and enroll sequences and sequences. We'll have those on. Now, I will say with playbooks, leadership might not mess around with playbooks, or they may, depending on your organization, but I would still give them access to them. Do they need any of the service tools? Probably not, so we'll go ahead and turn those off. But if we look at those, customer feedback, knowledge base articles, templates, I mean, they'll be able to get to them, but do they need to work with them inside of HubSpot? No, we'll simplify the complex. Reporting, yes, we of course want them to have reporting access. Marketing reports, maybe not, but if you're working in a company that is not siloed and marketing and sales are working together, then maybe. But of course, there's a switch for you on that. And then we have accounts here, setting access, and if we open up settings, we can see marketing contacts access, app marketplace access, probably for leadership, yes. Asset marketplace asset, HubDB table settings. They're probably not going to know what this is. This is more of web design and development and content. Global content settings, probably don't need it. Website settings, probably don't need it. Knowledge base settings, probably don't need it. Reports and dashboards, we'll turn that on. Domain settings, probably not. And then notice account access. Use the toggle to give access to account configuration and user management tools. I'm going to turn this on just so we can see what it is. Add and edit users. Yeah, their leadership. Add and edit teams. Partition by teams. Edit account defaults. Modify billing. Change name on contact, all of these things. Yes, for leadership, we want to go ahead and turn those on. And so you can see kind of going through CRM, going through sales, a couple of the marketing tools for sales to be able to use, turning service off, being able to enable reports and accounts. You now have a great leadership or sales leadership role. We're going to go ahead and hit save. And there you go. It's that simple. Now that you have that in place, any other sales leaders that you add to your HubSpot hub, you just grab that role and the permissions are set. Or if you don't have roles, now you know what permissions you can set. I am curious though, is there anything that you would change? Would you set your settings up any way different? Let us know in the comments below, because this could be a completely great resource in the future of your comments and thoughts on this whole conversation around sales permissions and sales roles inside of HubSpot. Also, as we move into the next portion of the tutorial, I want you to realize I understand there's a delicate dance between sales leadership and sales manager and what you would unlock or lock or have turned on, and if it's a manager and they're a leader, or if the leaders are managers. So there's a delicate dance there. We get it. Again, just take what you can from this tutorial, do the best with what you've got so that you can make your life easier with permissions or with roles. Let's move on to the good stuff. So moving on, we're going to go ahead with the second tier of roles. We're going to go ahead and create a role. This role is going to be the sales manager. So we'll go ahead and make it sales manager. Again, here, what we really lean into on the object access is instead of everything, it's their team only. And so we'll go ahead and do team only here on all of these. And we'll speed up time to save time in your day. Now, again, this is what we're suggesting, but you can do whatever you want as far as the access to team only or to everything when it comes to your sales manager. Use your best decision-making ability for your team and your needs. Now, we'll go ahead and go into the CRM tools. Do they need to have access to workflows? No. Do they need to be able to bulk delete? Probably not, but maybe. Again, you can flip that switch if you want. Do they need to be able to export? Yeah, for sure. Edit proper settings? Yep, definitely. Chat flows? Just depends on your business, but we'll go ahead and leave that one off. We'll go ahead and go over to marketing. Managers, yeah, they'll probably need forms and lists. They probably won't need files, but maybe we'll leave that just in case they're going to upload files for like the team to be able to download or send to folks to be able to download or things like that. But then other than that, marketing access, we'll just go ahead and turn that off. We'll go into sales. We'll say, yes, they definitely, as a manager, need to be able to do the product library. Create custom line items, yes. Access, yes. Should they be a paid seat? Yes. And then forecasting, probably just their team only. They don't need to necessarily see everything. And then playbooks, of course. Sequences, yes. Bulk and roll sequences, yes. And then we'll go to services and we'll just turn services off. Again, reports, yes, we want them to be able to see all the stuff from reporting. And account settings, app marketplace, sure. Don't need probably any of this stuff. Again, website, knowledge base, reports and dashboard, yes.
And then account access, add and edit users, probably. Add and edit teams, maybe. Partition by teams, yeah. Edit account defaults, sure. Modify billing and change name on contact, maybe not. So I'll go ahead and turn that one off. But again, use your best decision-making process on if that's good for you. And add and edit developer apps and test accounts. No, they probably don't need that. That pretty much wraps up with account, reports, sales, and CRM, what we're thinking about for our sales managers. Now, again, you have to make your decision for your business, but we'll hit save. And now we've got sales leadership and sales manager.
So again, let's stop and do a temperature check. Would you set up anything different? Let us know in the comments below. Also, if you're finding this video extremely valuable or just valuable, or you like it, either way, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell as well for those instant notifications. And let's continue on, because that's right, we're almost finished with this journey on HubSpot permissions and HubSpot roles. Let's get back into the tutorial, or AKA the good stuff.
And finally, we're going to go into our third tier of creating a sales role. And here's the thing. This whole time you've seen super admin. Don't worry. We're going to actually talk about super admin in another video. Today, we're just talking about sales roles. So we're going to go ahead and create our third sales role by hitting the create role. And this time, of course, it's going to be sales rep. Now, in object access, this is going to just go to owned only on pretty much all of these. And we'll just go ahead and do owned only on the view, because that quickly changes owned only on all of them. CRM tools, workflows, probably not. Bulk delete, absolutely not. Import, maybe. Like, honestly, you should think about, should you let them import, or should the managers do the imports, because then you could make sure the spreadsheets are clean and the data is clean and all that stuff. Export, I would say absolutely not, but again, it depends on your business. Edit property settings, potentially. Potentially, maybe yes on this one, but again, use your best decision-making process here. We're going to go ahead and go over to marketing. They probably don't need access to forms, maybe not. Maybe. We'll say yes to forms. We won't say yes to lists for them, because they're going to probably be using filters inside the CRM. Files, they might need access to files, but if it was a real world, perfect world, I'd probably have a snippet with a link that actually has the document that the sales rep could use. You know what? In this case, I'm going to say no, because I want you guys to use snippets and those links so that the sales reps can save time. Actually, I'm even going to say no to forms, because again, you could have a link to that standalone form in a snippet, and now you're simplifying your sales rep's life by just giving them access to a set of snippets that they can use that leverages the links of the forms and the files. So yeah, that's what I think.
Hey, you know me. I gotta stop. I gotta ask, are you using snippets? Are you using templates? Are you leveraging the HubSpot tools to give your sales team the time back that they need? Let us know in the comments below if you're using those, or if this is something brand new where you're like, hey, actually, I never thought about how permissions or roles could affect the content that we should actually create with snippets and templates, and enable them and simplify their day.
Marketing access, no, they don't need marketing access. Manage product library, give access to your product library, including creating and editing products. Maybe, again, depending on your business, probably. Create custom line items, yes. Sales access, yes. Templates, grant the ability to create and edit templates. Probably not for a sales rep.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Editor George here. I completely realized that some people might watch that part and go, wait a minute. And so let me explain. Like, you maybe, depending on your team, you might want to actually just create the templates and have them there for them to use. But on the other hand, that might become unscalable at some point in time. So you may want to go ahead and turn that on and let your sales reps create their own templates. As a matter of fact, I might lean in that direction, which is why I'm actually Editor George in this video, Matthew. I mean, come on, why would I come back on screen instead of just keeping on with the tutorial? But my point being, really think about this one. Depending on how you want to scale up the use of templates and if your sales rep should use them or not, flip that on and off like whatever way you want to.
And then, of course, if you have enough seats and can, we're going to go ahead and do that. Now, for forecasting, it should just be owned by them and owned by them. Playbooks, publish, maybe edit. I don't know if we want them to publish their own, but they might be able to edit ones or tweak them. Again, this is an area where, depending on leadership and the sales manager, I would take pause and think about this. Sequences, yes. I'm honestly not sure if you want to let a sales rep bulk enroll sequences or not.
I mean, if your sales team is human and you don't think that they're going to like blow up your contact list and they historically haven't been bad actors, then maybe bulk sequences is good. But if not, to all of those things a minute ago, I don't know. It's your decision, but you know, for this tutorial,
I'm going to turn it off, but this one really depends on your team. Like if they're human and they're not trying to just spam the crap out of people, then yes, with great power comes great responsibility, and you can turn this on. If you want to keep it to where it's more one-to-one communication like sequences was originally meant for, maybe turn that off, but that's totally up to you. But we'll go up and do service. Nope, they don't need service. Reports, yeah, they probably need to be able to get access to reports. Do they need to be able to create/own their own dashboards? Probably. Or if you live in a world that you're creating it for them and then they just can edit and view, that's totally up to you. I think allowing them to play in the reporting, the analytics, the data is a good thing for sales teams. Marketing reports, no, not really. They need to just be focusing on sales. An account, marketing contacts access, probably not, but maybe. Just depends, because if they're the contact owner and that contact becomes a marketing contact, actually, then yes. And by the way, you might want to use the see more or see less on some of these that are a little bit more complex or that you quite don't understand. Asset marketplace access, I mean, probably not. Most of this can probably be turned off. I wouldn't really even turn on account access. Kind of just lock it down to the simple things of like, hey, you can report, you can sell, and you have access to the tools. Good luck. Hit your numbers. Let's go. And we'll hit save. So you can see we have 3 tiers: sales leadership, sales manager, and sales rep. So when we go to users and we go to create a user, now what we're going to be able to do is go ahead and access those roles and save ourselves time instead of doing each role individually.
or as I've stated the entire way, there's no real difference from permissions and roles and permissions other than you can set up roles. But like you could literally use all the permissions parts in Marketing Professional and Enterprise and just roles to go with the permissions. Anyway, I'm pretty sure that you get what I'm laying down right there. But if you got value out of this video, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell as well. And remember, as you move forward, set up those roles that you need. So maybe the 3 tiers of roles, or at least set up the permissions that you need if you're in Marketing Professional. But either way, you're going to be able to allow people to see what they need to see, do what they need to do, and you're going to be able to potentially speed up your process of adding new users in the future. It just depends. By the way, I haven't mentioned this the entire tutorial, but realizing that roles with permissions together can speed up your process might be one of those little tiny reasons why you decide, hey, maybe we should upgrade from Professional to Enterprise. And as you figure that out, remember to be a happy, helpful, humble human and do some happy HubSpotting along the way.